How many times have you seen people posting about XRP going to $10 or $20, maybe $50 or $100 online? Whether it's some sort of person with a suit and a tie or some person that's speaking on stage talking about these incredible lofty price targets, where do they come up with these numbers? Are they literally pulling them out of their butt? Honestly, I think so, because when I look at the chart for XRP, I see some reasonable targets if things get really crazy, which I do expect them to get later on this year. But you've seen stuff like this before, no doubt. You've seen, show me the price of a XRP with the market cap of Bitcoin. And then we get some crazy prices like $37 or at its all-time high, $41. Or let's just skip crypto altogether. And let's say that first, just for the sake of an example, XRP has the market cap of Meta. Well, yeah, then it's going to be some crazy level, $33 per share, per coin, or Nvidia up $70. How do we know what a reasonable target for XRP is? Can we trust the people in the suits? Can we trust the talking heads? No, you can't. And I'm going to prove to you why. Now, what makes me qualified? I've already done this. I've already done this 3 times. You guys like the videos so much that in the last month, I made a video about my Solana top target, my Ethereum top target, and also my Sui top target. And all of these have gotten well over 20,000 views. This one's actually going to be bumping these two out, probably going to go up to the #1 most viewed video. Why? Well, because I'm looking at things from the perspective of what's realistic, what's attainable, not pie in the sky, not like this super duper hopium injected video that's going to get you all giddy and fearful that you're going to take out all this debt to buy more XRP where it might not go as well as you think. Now, we're going to go over here to the chart for XRP on Bitstamp. Why Bitstamp? Well, Bitstamp is kind of an OG exchange along the likes of, I guess you could say, Kraken or Coinbase. Binance is another really good exchange that I would love to use for this, but unfortunately, Binance only really started trading back in late 2017, and we want to focus on the charts that have the most price action or the most history, just like I did for Solana, for Sui, for Ethereum. So, without any indicators whatsoever, knowing the fact that XRP started way back over here in 2013, this is an OG coin. Thinking about the fact that it was below a cent, half of a cent when it listed, and now it's up here 48,000%. It seems like such a great chart. But when you realize that this is the monthly time frame, we saw some incredible moves for XRP over and over, up 500%, up 900%. This move here from 2017 to the top was 64,000%. A lot of people made a lot of money. But the reality is that XRP has also been the target of the SEC for so many years. You guys know about all the legal troubles and the legal battles, which they have overcome now, which is great. But this chart was insanely cursed, seeing it lose 96% of its value from January 2018 to March 2020 when we had our COVID crash. In the 2020 rally, it still didn't even get close to reaching its previous all-time high. It only made it up to basically just under $2. And then from the 2021 all-time high, it wasn't an all-time high, but that high, it lost another 85% of its value. I know you guys are getting excited about the market right now, which is totally fine. But understand that these aren't just mistakes. This market may be different, but it's not that different. Expect XRP and everything else to lose between 80% to 99% of its value during the course of next year, which is a bear market year. You don't believe me. I know you don't want to believe me. I've already made a video talking about this cycle. I'm going to make sure to tag it. It's going to pop up right there, but watch it later. Now, if I were just to look at this chart and make a decision if I want to buy or if I want to pass, based off of its history, I would take a hard pass. I don't own any XRP. I don't regret not buying XRP. I'm just personally not a fan because the chart tells the story every time. And this chart tells the story of something that's been heavily suppressed, heavily manipulated, and it's just struggling to push up higher. My goal for this video is not to rage bait anybody, nor is it to get your hopes up. Again, I'm just trying to be realistic. We need to look at a couple of indicators. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our Fibonacci levels. I love Fibonacci drawings because they help to plot future areas of support and resistance for price action, which is extremely helpful, especially looking backward to forward. So we're going to use something that's really cool. These are my 2014 Fib projections. The way I've done this is I identify the high or the top to the drop. This is the lowest price that XRP has ever reached down here at 0.00281 cents. And then once we draw out this, it gives us these plots: 1, 1.272, 1.618, 2, and 272. And then, of course, there's our 2.618. Why use this? Well, for a couple of reasons. These historical Fibonacci projections not only plotted amazing pullbacks of resistance and bounces of support here in 2017 and also here in 2020, it also pretty much marked the top in 2018. It marked a level of resistance here at $1.34. It marked a level of support here at basically 41 cents. It marked resistance up here at $3. This isn't magic. This isn't astrology for dudes. This is technical analysis, and like it or not, it does work really well. So looking at this, another reason why I'm not personally excited about XRP is that it's knocking on this 272 Fibonacci resistance level. Does it have the potential to go up higher? I'm getting ahead of myself, but let's bring it forward. Let's keep this one in the back of our minds. We're going to bring it back in a second, but let's just remember those levels. And now we're going to measure our 2018 top to our drop. Again, 2018 January down here to March 2020, the COVID crash. So we can again see how well Fibonacci levels plot support and resistance levels for price. We can see resistance being respected up here at $1.61. We can see the price crashing down to the 618, to the 5, to the 382, and it's just dancing around these levels over and over. This looks like it happened real fast. To be honest, XRP was struggling in this range for 19 months, a year and a half. Absolutely cursed price action, and it is. We can see XRP shooting all the way up to the previous all-time high where that one is, falling back here to the 786 at $1.61 and going right back up again. What's crazy about this is that if we bring back our 2014 Fib projections, and I've marked these in white so that way it's a little bit easier to see, we're going to notice a couple of striking things. For one, we're going to see levels start to overlap. That's extremely important. When we have these overlapping levels, like back over here, like 41 cents, you can see it's a little bit difficult to see, but they're there. And also a level like right here, our 2.272 is lining up with our 1 level at basically $3.31, the previous all-time high. We want to pay attention to that. And up here, the 1.272 of 2018 and the 2.618 of 2014 are also overlapping. That's really interesting. When we get overlapping Fibonacci levels, this is something that we need to be paying attention to because it's giving us a big clue. To be honest, I've already talked about this stuff and I teach it in our courses at The Better Traders. So in the description below, there is a link to check out a course called The Smarter Trader. This one goes heavy duty into the stuff that I'm just kind of skimming the surface of right now to do this price-based analysis. This is an advanced course. Unfortunately, by the time this video is posted, this 30% offer is not available. But again, if you subscribe to the newsletters, you'll be alerted when we have deals and discounts and stuff like that. And for those that just don't want to wait, if you join the Better Traders Club, there's actually a 10% off discount or coupon for all of our courses through the club. You can even join the crypto cheapo level, the starter tier, for $1 to get access to that really juicy discount. So I want to go back over here and I want to now look at our more recent Fibonacci levels. I want to look at our 2021 April high to our low here in June 2022. What's crazy is that we can again see the price of XRP knocking on resistance. So we've looked at 2 previous Fibonacci levels. We've looked at the 2014 levels, 2018, and now the 2021. And what's crazy is you can see the price just ping-ponging back and forth and again, knocking on resistance. When we overlap and overlay a lot of these, you can start to realize and recognize that there are some significant levels to watch. For one, the reason why XRP has been struggling so much according to Fibonacci levels is that there are 3 overlapping levels here. There is the 2014 fib, there's the 2018 fib, and the 2021 fib. All these are lining up together, and these are significant zoomed out levels. Plus, we also have some targets up here, 646, which is more recent, but it's plausible. Then we have 2 levels here, $8.29 and then $9. Now, a move up here to 646 would be an increase of 128%, which isn't too bad. It's really not. And looking up here to maybe $9 is basically a 3x, moving up 200%. Now, $10, that's where we start to get a little bit crazy, because look at how well the price has respected these historically drawn Fibonacci levels that plot future resistance levels. Do you get how powerful that is? Now, I want to give you a bullish case for XRP to go up a lot higher. A bull flag is essentially when we have price that is making lower highs and lower lows, something like this. Sometimes it can be sideways, and eventually we're going to get a breakout of this. We've seen Bitcoin do this so many times. We'll see a break of resistance, a bounce on that level, and it just shoots up higher. The reality is that XRP has had an epic 4-year bull flag that it broke out of in November 2024. One thing that hasn't happened, though, is a retrace back down to it. I'm not expecting it to happen, but that's usually what does happen. But it's clear that it broke above overhead resistance and it's doing really well. It is on the bullish side of the flag, so it does have the potential to keep rallying up higher. But if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that my personal top target range, like the date range for Bitcoin, is November, which means that alts will probably have their time in the sun in December. And just like Icarus getting too close to the sun, we will see alts absolutely go parabolic and then crash. That's my expectation, at least. It might happen, it might not happen, but I think it's safe to say that we are very much near the end of this bull run. So while this might feel good, and you think, oh, okay, well, Aaron's saying we could go up to $9. Sure, but again, I'm not really excited about buying into a chart like this that's already moved up so much. I want to flip the script a little bit to talk about where it might go, knowing the fact that we've seen this chart lose a lot of value, 96%. We've seen it lose, 85%. If we go back over here, listing high to the low, 95%. Here, December 2014, down to the very, very low, 89%. So it's within reason to expect a drop between 85%. I don't think we're going to see a 96% move anymore, but I think an 85% or even an 80% move makes a lot of sense, personally. So if we go ahead and take this level up here, we'll just say like $9. A drop of 85% will put it down here to probably about $1.30. An unfortunate truth about this, though, is that this is probably not likely because we have a fair value gap. Now, we're getting a little bit technical, more so than I really want to, but essentially a fair value gap is basically this right here. We have this huge pump in November up 283%, and we haven't seen the price of XRP go back down because this mass right here is just open. That should scare you. While we could see Ethereum, let me go ahead and just bring back everything else that I had. While we could see XRP reach $9, the truth is that this fair value gap should get filled. And that would mean seeing XRP fall down to maybe 53 cents, which would be a 94% pullback. I know you think I'm crazy to say stuff like this, but I've been trading crypto since 2017. I've seen some really nasty bear markets that no one was really prepared for. And the reality is that we're very much in the later stages of this bull market. I'm not going to stop this video, though, just talking about fibs or a bull flag. We need to look at other indicators, and not even my private ones, but I will share these in a second. Yes, you could interpret that as me saying that I'm going to share my privates with you, but you just have a dirty mind, or either I do. We're going to skip that I even said that out loud. So the other thing to consider right here is RSI. I love using RSI. Again, I teach this in the Smarter Trader course. The one thing you have to know about this, and I should have mentioned this as well, is I always use a logarithmic scale for every cryptocurrency chart. Always, all the time. And if you're going to use Fibonacci levels with log scale, you need to change the style to be using log scale. If you don't, your levels are going to get all mixed up. It's going to look really goofy and really wrong. Just trust me. So I forgot to make that distinction. Because RSI, I use a specific length of 7. Why? Well, I want it to be a shorter length because I want it to get way more overbought, way more oversold, because that will reflect the volatility of Bitcoin extremely well. Now, we can clearly see moments where XRP was getting super duper overheated, particularly when monthly RSI was at 98.84. If you ever want to know what peak euphoria looks like, 98.84 on RSI, on the monthly RSI, that's a big clue. One thing that's interesting though is check the level. So we got right over here, December 2017, when everyone was frothy and euphoric, and we saw RSI make a high of 96.02. It's extremely rare, especially in the monthly time frame, to see monthly RSI exceed the previous high. And I'll prove it to you. Here is November 2020. We saw a really nice rally for everything. And unfortunately, after going up 177%, we saw XRP have a nasty pullback in December, losing 66%. And then it started in January to go up higher. Note, RSI was at 81.68. I'm looking at the orange number right there, by the way. And we saw this level here, 81.71. Extremely rare, but that was it. And once that happened, then we saw RSI cool off and fall down. So it's very clear that whenever monthly RSI gets above 70, we are nearing the end of the bull rally. The majority of the time, XRP, well, rather monthly RSI for XRP, is in this dead zone between 70 and 25. Keep that in mind. The moments where it's above 70, extremely rare. Now, here we are today. The last time we were above 70 was back in April 2021. And here we are with these big frothy moves, November 2024 at 86.8, exceeding these levels. Impressive. This level, 92.5. Incredible levels. So January was amazing for XRP. Did it exceed this level? 96.02, 92.50. No. The reality is that this chart, while it looks incredible, and we had another really good close in July going above 70, yes, it's trending up higher, but we've seen this before. We had a head start, we had our top, and then that's it. No one's going to be ready for the that's it part. No one will be prepared for that. But when you look at this and you zoom out on the monthly time frame, you should be extremely shocked about how much time passes between XRP's monthly RSI being below 70. This is a very rare moment in time. Again, I'm trying to help you think soberly about this, not trying to give you hopium, also not trying to, rain on your parade either for being, in the green, especially if you're a long-term holder of XRP. So let's just crank it up a notch looking at something else. We're going to look at on-balance volume. On-balance volume is awesome because this looks at cumulative volume for every chart. Unfortunately, the volume is pretty weak here on Bitstamp, so I do want to go over to Binance because they have way more volume. This really reflects the euphoria and the hopium right now for XRP. We're seeing on-balance volume, the blue jagged line, way high, way high. And also this moving average here, which I'm using a 21 smoothed moving average. It's telling us that the macro trend is up, which is good. If we look at volume, just volume in general on Binance, it's okay. It's all right. I know, trust me, I don't have someone controlling my head. I'm not a marionette or something like that, but I'm just trying to be honest. It's not great. It's not bad either, but it's very clearly falling off. What you have to understand is that these big spikes in volume are telling us that a top is most likely near. I mean, look, April 2021, look at that volume spike right there. That's impressive. And we see volume fall off after that. See a huge volume spike. Yes, I know XRP went up a lot higher, but see it fall off more and more. Yes, there was a nice spike in July. I believe that's when they got their case thrown out, which is great news for them. Again, it's awesome. But understand, it's not looking as bullish as you really want it to. We need to go back to Bitstamp because I want to show you one more thing that you're not going to like. Before I do, if you've watched up to this point, you haven't hit the like button. Shame, shame, shame. Hit that like button. And also let me know what other coins you might be interested in me reviewing like this to share my thoughts on where I think the market could go to the upside and to the downside, because that's where we are in this market. Now, this indicator right here, TBT divergence, TBT stands for The Better Traders, which is my company where we teach people how to become better traders. It's the big neon sign that's behind my head in every single video. This is a really interesting indicator because it just does two things really well. It shows us where there is bullish and bearish divergence. It goes way deeper than just simple RSI-based divergence because it's using trigonometry. I am not kidding. Our developer for this just had way too much fun. So I want you to see a couple of things. When we have our green bullish divergence signals, these have typically marked excellent places to buy. When we see our red TBT divergence, that's letting us know, watch out. And we saw a TBT divergence here in September 2017, and the price did go up from there, another 16x. I get it. But that was pretty much it. And we've been trapped. We are looking at the second ever TBT bearish divergence on the monthly, printed last month. Now, if we were to switch to the weekly, yeah, we see these here too. We also see really great buy entries. And if we zoom out, these are actually the first two TBT bearish divergence signals ever for XRP, ever. These don't necessarily mean, okay, exit, pull out, get out of this position completely. It's just letting you know when there is a bearish divergence you might not want to accept. Because the thing that I like about indicators like this is that they're just telling the truth. They're just running off of algorithms. They're running off of calculations. They're not going to be bullish or bearish. They're not going to give into your bias. And it's up to you to accept the information or not. And you can see vice versa. All of these were actually really great entry signals on the weekly. Really amazing. So are we going to discount this as, oh, no, this one's probably wrong? Are we going to let our bias get in the way? If we were to use the TBO right now, we won't have that much information, unfortunately, because it's the monthly chart, but it is knocking at resistance at just about $3. It doesn't mean it can't go higher. On the weekly time frame, again, it's knocking on resistance. It is looking very strong bullish. But my main concern isn't necessarily the strength of the trend. It's seeing bearish divergences. It's seeing overlapping fibs right where we are, and understanding that I personally believe we only have a couple more weeks left until the market's done. So could we see another push up for XRP up to $9? I think so. But the main thing you have to think about from a risk to reward perspective, are you willing to enter here to, have it right up to $9, which is a good 3x, like going up 200%, with the understanding that we could see a pullback of 85%, or we could fill this fair value gap down here, which would mean XRP falls down 93%. A lot of you will disagree with me on my analysis. I'm not trying to please anybody. I'm not trying to inject hopium straight into your veins. But there are a couple of things you do have to understand about cryptocurrency markets. As big as the market cap is for XRP, and right now it's in the number 3 top market cap spot, which is incredible. But in order to grow that much, to go up to $9, things are going to have to be really bullish. Like, I mean, really bullish. I know the president likes XRP, potentially. I know there are lots of great partnerships with XRP and the banking. I'm not talking about the fundamentals. I'm not talking about the connections. I'm not talking about the money passed under the table. I'm talking about the charts, because the charts tell the story every single time. So when I look at the charts, I'm seeing XRP near the end of this bull market, and it could move up another 200%. It really could. But with a lot of potential drawdown ahead of us with the bear market looming next year, and again, that's me. I could be wrong. I'm looking at this with cautious hesitation going, for me? No, not really for me. For you? Go for it. Sure, have fun. But don't go into this blindly expecting that every suit, tie-wearing suit that's on, some sort of news-based channel or podcast talking about XRP going up to $1 million. Just listen to them, take notice of their information with a grain of salt. And when everyone is screaming the loudest that XRP is never going to go down again, just remember my little face right here, ding, ding, ding. And I want you to think, I think it might be time to take out a little bit of profit, because no one ever went broke taking a profit. I want you to let me know what you think of this video, what you think of my analysis. For better or for worse, I'm sure that a lot of you XRP, OG long-term fans and hodlers are going to be against the idea of XRP falling that far, but there is that possibility. You can be a hodler and just never sell. It's true, and you can do really well. Or you could consider scaling out some of your position, knowing that we're near the end of the bull market. You do you, boo-boo, and I'll do what I'm going to do. So until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.